Welcome, champions! My name is Margaret, and I'm coming to you live from the isolated streaming freezer of Codename Entertainment in beautiful Victoria, British Columbia. Before we begin, I'd like to thank Dungeons & Dragons for hosting us on the official D&D Twitch channel. It is and always will be an honor to be here. Shout out to our moderator and co-producer Jay, as well as our executive producer Erica for helping keeping this show going. And I have usurped Dylan's place. Let's chat. What would you like to chat about? Let's just get some background music going because that seems sensible. It's wonderful. That one. All right. Yes, Dylan's on holiday, so it's me today. Oh, where did I hide Dylan's body? Would it have to be in the office? Because it would definitely be in one of the downstairs offices that no one ever goes in and that aren't part of the Codename offices. So, to answer that question. But no, he's fine. He's just on holiday. It's wonderful to see everyone. It's nice to usurp his place again, come back to the Thursday stream. It's wonderful to see you all. Speaking of hiding Dylan's body, we were casually discussing yesterday evening among some of the Codename crew if we were to create like Betrayal on House Hill, the Codename version. What would the tiles look like? What would our omens be? What would our events be? So there's an idea. Betrayal, yeah. Betrayal at C&E Studios. It'd be fun. A little bit sinister, because then we'd have to start worrying about which coworker's the traitor. But it'd probably be a good time. And they all are? We are all the traitors, Garwar? Yes, definitely. Sure, I'll allow it. Oh, Dave Deffinwells is here. Aloha, and thank you for joining us. Yeah, got some questions. Lockberg is asking, what champion would I suggest in slot 2 as second pick for Modron Automation? Is that to say that you don't have another alternate champion in your slot 2? Because my next go-to would be just to get your Companions of the Hall formation going as a good option. Not necessarily the strongest champion on his own, but as part of Companions of the Hall works really well. Korth is also good. There's lots of good options in that slot. It's just what I would recommend. So depends on what you like to do. Oh, Supply 215 is saying, if there were ever a C&E horror movie, the plot twist is that Margaret isn't the killer. Thanks. I'm gonna go with thanks. Thanks. Findy and Barrows, Havler's Gown. Did it ever happen for you? No, not yet. I've been working on some Tomb of Annihilation variants instead of doing time gates like I should be. So, priorities. But now with the Modron Automation, I can be doing more stuff at once, but it's all about the journey, not the destination of the gown, which really isn't how getting a dress works, but never mind that. Alpha Crawl is saying if it's a C&E horror movie, then it would start with someone spoiling who the real killer is. All right. And then finding out how we got to this situation, so almost like a Knives Out type situation where it is actually what it says in the beginning, but I don't want to spoil that movie. Whatever Man is asking for any chance for more Strahd eligible speed champs. The next couple of champions I don't believe have speed functionality with them, but I can pass that feedback on. Are the new variants working now? Can you kill everything? Are we talking about the indefeatable enemies in Avernus? That has been very high priority. I'm not entirely sure if that's fixed yet, but if it hasn't been fixed, it'll be fixed very soon. So. Finian Barrows just likes asking about Havilar's gown, and you'll be both happy and sad when I finally get it. I feel you. It's sort of like, it's a nice journey with you all, and it would be a shame to have that come to an end. And I'm just going to ask the devs about the indefeatable enemies. With the very loud keyboard that Dylan prefers. Just checking that information for you guys. Crushi69 is asking, why does Omin have the healing tag? Feels like he's missing some healing, which would definitely help him compete for use in a slot better. He is not supposed to have the healing tag. That was an error, and that will be disappearing shortly. So, yeah. I'm getting word from Justin that the indefeatable enemies in Avernus are still a thing on some platforms, so I'm assuming console as we wait to push out those builds, but I'm just going to get confirmation on that. But it's but they should be fixed on Steam, Android, iOS, and WebGL. So that's that. Blasphemer 216 is asking about year one champions, since they will be retiring soon. Any chance for gearing them for free beyond time gates and patrons? The current plan is just time gates and patrons, but we'll see how that shakes out. But there are no alternate plans that I am aware of for gearing up your year one champions, but you'll also have year four champions now, which are looking pretty exciting. Cassius 335 is asking how come the background progress runs in the background automatically with auto progress turned off. It's inconvenient when you're trying to leave one party formation in place while you sort out the other one. That was a reflection of what happened when we did offline progress, and it's something we're looking into because we understand that it might be a bit frustrating since it doesn't respect the player's choice to keep offline progress from going on. But it hasn't been the highest priority at the moment. So it was done to fix something, but it's something that we might be looking at again. Hey boss, 1990. So I have Binwin without gear. Does that come in normal chests, or should I open the time gates for him, or will it come in some event for him like Jim? Binwin is an event champion, so won't be geared through regular gold or silver chests. So opening up the time gate to get those event chests is a great way to do that. And I believe Binwin's event has passed already. I'm sure that there is someone who knows this off the top of their head, but yes, it was Dragon Down a couple months ago. Sometimes which champion belongs to which event is a bit of a blur to me, and then I need to go back and reference them. Green Samurai 23 is asking, hi Margaret, any news on fixing the WebGL bugs, particularly the familiar bug and auto progress bugs, which are killing multi-mode progress? I believe those are on the list, and our intrepid Jacob is working on, I'd say, squashing them, but he's not a really squash bugs kind of person. Like code bugs, sure, but actual bugs, he's much more of a gentle glass and napkin and remove them to the outside. So catch, fix, and release on Jacob. Alpha Krell is asking, with the new gem prices on familiars and the amount of long patron challenges, 1,000 areas of Axe, are you assuming that most people have unlocked Modron and the rest should not expect to complete all within a week? TLDR, are you forgetting people without Modron automation? We definitely aren't forgetting about people without Modron automation. It's still a very new feature, but I would say that for people who are completing patron variants, that they would then have enough champions to be able to unlock Modron automation. So once you really get into patrons, I feel like that would be a good time to look into Modron automation as well. But it's a choice. If you don't want to use Modron automation, that's also fine. And it's also something that, like, you can use multi-party mode without enabling a Modron core if you'd like. I haven't set up my Modron core right now, so I'm just using, which is a bit naughty of me, but I'm just using 2 parties without the Modron buffs. So that's also a possibility if you don't want to play the pipe game. But I've heard it's a fun pipe game. Whatever Man 111 is asking about any ETA on getting the background party to work on actual speed instead of 1 area a minute. It's tied to run an offline progress simulation, which is 1 area a minute, so I'm not sure. Not sure if we're planning on changing that per se, but Modron automation and offline progress and multi-party mode are definitely still things that we're looking into and tweaking as necessary, considering Modron automation is still in beta, which is fun. EP 4 1s and 3 2s is asking me who my favorite champion is, and I'm partial to Celeste, but I also particularly enjoy Caddy Ree is a great champion and support and DPS. So something for me. And no. One did not like that one. I want to see how far I can go while I slowly lose all of my champions, but that's the fun of it. Corvus Noctis is, cool name, has a questions. Since we won't be able to do the year 1 champion variants in the respective events, we'll be able to progress for the variant achievements. because at the moment we are not. But they like completing all of the achievements. You don't want to miss out on them. You will be able to complete all of the achievements through the time gates for the variants. And for the free play is actually tied to the event and not through one particular champion. So you'll be able to get the achievement the next time that event comes around as well. Cassius 335 says that the pipe flow game is fun, but they're still not a fan of the T and C cross undirected pipes having a fixed number of outputs. That's some fair feedback. I will make a note of that. Thank you for telling us how you think it is. Renor 76 is asking who's at DPS. I don't have that one. The one that I brought out, because this was previously a Artemis Observe formation before the Masks Lords of Waterdeep took over, who works really well with Cadibri, which I really enjoy using them together. They have a rivalry, to put it mildly, in lore, and that is, I think it plays really well in the game. And Odita is asking, can we get to the important stuff? If Grove or Groove Walnut were to be in a dance-off, what type of dance steps would she bring? I think she would be a great break dancer. The Sifu is asking, could the store pages for event chests be updated to let new players know that they can only be bought with event tokens during the event? Alternatively, could we continue to use event tokens to purchase chests for the few days after the events? Getting feedback about people who have, and I myself have done this, who have ended the event with some event tokens still in the bank is it's a bit of a bitter pill to swallow, so I will definitely be passing on that feedback to our production team. Whatever Man 111 is asking on making time gates more lucrative, saying that it's virtually impossible to gear champs outside events. I would disagree a little bit, because they were reworked late last year so that you could select whichever champion that you wanted, which was a huge improvement, so be able to focus on gearing certain champions. So that's already changes that quite a bit. But I'm curious to see like which champions that you're trying to gear, because we have that you can also gear them through patron chests. We also have them in the week, a rotation of 5 champions in our weekend chests. So if there are champions you're missing, then let us know. And I'm being told that the background music is too quiet. Thank you, Clive. I will turn that up a bit more so that it's actually picked up by the stream. Thanks, Clive. Rizaflow is asking for any updates on the Year 2 champion rework. So Year 2 Part 1 champion rework. That I cannot give any updates at this time, but it is a thing that is happening. Maelstrom 7737 is asking about are year 1 champs time gates being changed to allow you to do the 2 levels in all 3 variants to get the achievement for doing each champ's 3 variants? And if I could explain that a bit more. No, we're not planning on reworking it, but you are given an extra random event variant for that champion, and so doing enough time gates for that champion will allow you to complete that variant achievement. It may take a bit, but it is possible. So, but that's an interesting suggestion for year 1. I'm curious to see which time gate, like which year 1 champions are you most concerned about losing. And if you are doing time gates, I would suggest putting a rotation of sort of, if you're 3 champions that you'd like to gear up as opposed to just 1, because this will decrease the level requirement for gearing up those champions and getting those gold chests, as opposed to if you just focus on 1 champion. Okay. Whatever man is talking about the time gates again. There's the 3 gold chests and 6 to 7 silver chests. So 3 to 4 time gates on average to get an epic. Patron chests are excellent, but diluted across champs that you don't really want. I'm really curious, which champion are you trying to gear up, or is it a general thing? Is my question, just because it's these are all very valid points, but if it feels like we're missing a champion out of weekend chests that's really sought after or something, that would be excellent feedback for us to have. So it can be a bit of a long-term goal for some people, but if you feel like we're missing a certain champion, then you're like, hey, why don't we talk about a certain one? Let us know. And just request for more time gate pieces. And Raven's voice has a great point that if you have not completed a variant, you'll always get the one that you haven't completed for a particular champions event. So yes, it'll be earned through multiple time gate uses is the current plan. DNG and Crawlwells says, so I figured out why I always close the game on the chess screen. There's a red close button on every screen, but the chess screen has a weird green close button in a very random place, unlike any other screen in the game. Okay, that sounds like that shouldn't be there. So I will make a note of that as UI that does not work as it should. Thanks for letting us know. And as a general thing, whatever man needs gear on Krull, Briv, Ahghairon, Morgaine, Beetle and Grim, Freely, Thaddeus, and Sentry. You have 75 time gate pieces, but the rewards are minimal. So it's hard to prioritize. Yes, you can't chain time gates together anymore. That was a bit of an exploit that we closed. But that's some great feedback. Some of these appear somewhat regularly in our weekend newsletters, but those are a mixed bag of gear, so that's fair. And some of them, I can say that some of the newer ones, it takes a little while before they enter the weekend buffs pool. Like, I think Freely's first, one of Freely's first weekends was last weekend. So Rizaflow is asking, saying between weekly time gate pieces and mode on trust, the current limit on patron currency seems low. Will there be an increase? Maybe. We're going to see how things shake out with the multi-party system and being able to do more things at once. So it's I'm not saying there won't be an increase, but I can't say that there will be or that there will be at a particular time. So it's something that we're seeing how the new system is affecting the meta and then the in-game currency economy. This has already sort of like impacted the rarity of gems. If you can always have a party gem farming in the background, that's something that's changed the rarity of gems as well. So we're just seeing how it shakes out. Any chance we'll be able to recomplete variants? Maybe the goal level increases by some percentage after success, or the reward for rare victory laps could be around a reward from gems, time gate piece, gold chest, or Modron chest. It's an interesting idea. We've had a few requests to be able to replay variants. So we'll have to see. I will bring that to the team. Okay, I don't have a DPS going on right now on this party, so I'm gonna close it. But I'm still going, which is fun. If I want to throw in, maybe if I want to throw in Artemis. No, you just don't do very well on your own. You need your rivals, buddy. Let's see. Let's see if I can get you to much further away I can get you by yourself. Probably not that much further until I run out. Yeah, another thing with it. Blasphemer is asking, with the ongoing work on the Modron automation beta, has there been any word on when the devs would like to see an official rollout, or is that being kept flexible for now? That is being kept flexible for now. And I think we're taking a moment to step back and check out how things shake out, do a lot of bug fixing, and maybe do some quality of life focus as well. So just taking a moment. Calador is asking, are new patron familiars being added? Not in the immediate future, but I can see us adding some more down the line. We, of course, just rolled out another 4 new familiars, 3 for gems, 1 for hard currency. So we're seeing how things shake out. I know there will be another familiar added with our usual charity drive in the fall, but again, that's hard currency. Patron familiars, I'm sure will come back, but I can't give a time as to when. Alpha Curl has a question. Would it be possible to reduce the menu buttons needed for Modron automation, bit of quality of life? Thank you for the quality of life suggestion and feedback. I'll be sending it to the team. David F. and Wells is suggesting on the subject of replaying variants, allow repeats after finishing all for Pacific location, book, or patron. So are you suggesting like once you finish Tomb of Annihilation, you can replay all of Tomb of Annihilation? Or is that the idea? 'Cause that could be an idea. Theoretically, though, we should just add another patron. Not right now. That is not canon, and that would let people replay things again. But Garwar is asking, once multi-party / Modron automation has been bug fixed and officially launched, what's the next priority for the team? That is a Justin secret. In the future, I know that the year 2 part 1 rebalance is on the timeline, but beyond that, I can't say anymore. Oh, and about replaying a campaign, it's once you finish the campaign, you can replay the variants. That would be really interesting. I will get that. I'll pass that on. And I am going to close this. I'm still going? Oh. Our Green Paradox says we already know who the next patron is going to be. Okay. I don't, so please let us know. Bryce Ling says, I know affiliation only counts specifically sometimes, but are there plans to update champions like Valania and Krull, Dark Order, that don't have other members in the game? I would say that becomes more of a thing if we add other members with those similar affiliations. And sometimes things can change as well in terms of what their affiliations are. If they move, if they're on a stream and they move from one show to another, thinking of Beyond Heroes and Silver and Steel. So it's mostly if we touch another champion with an affiliation, again, it would be more most likely to happen when one of their party members is also joins the roster. Almeida Alvaro is asking, will we ever have patron variants for events? Not that we have planned immediately, but we're a never say never type of crew. So it depends what our wonderful overlords and design overlords decide to do. but I don't know of any current plans to do that. Obo Lauren is saying that Beyond Heroes and Silver and Steel gotta make things difficult. No, you guys don't make things difficult. You guys are wonderful, but it's sort of like it always brings a hesitation of putting in affiliations because they can change. And for example, Archon was part of Force Grey, but now he's most closely associated now, of course, with the Dark Order. So it can be delicate balance. Madtic is asking, will we get a 13th slot? There is no 13th slot planned. So J Room is asking, hey, can you say when the Modran update comes on Switch? I don't have the exact release date, but it should be very soon. So, and you will be receiving the rewards for the Summer Spectacular then as well, because some of the deadlines for Nintendo are a bit long, and we sadly couldn't get it done in time. But it's not something that we wanted to deprive our wonderful Switch users of. Blasphemer is asking if there's a cow level. I suppose I could go back and play Curse Farmer, but currently having some fun in Ahghairon's Day. Kranus is asking, may have been asked, any idea when we will get a Modron familiar? Oh. That is something that I am making a note of for Chris, because if we don't have that on our pipeline, we should. And yeah, we should. If we don't have it planned already, we should plan that. Almeida is asking for a 0 sloth to exchange with click damage. So a familiar or just a click damage sloth? The Sifu is asking on event variants, what if tokens were only used if the variant is successfully completed? You're hesitant to try certain restrictive ones because I'm not sure I have enough party members and don't want to risk the tokens. Sadly, it's the cost of entry, but I would save it for the end. But I can understand the risk adverseness that you may have. So it's oh, finally getting wiped. 3 champions is not enough for this, so we're going to complete that. And we're going to go for Vadra's command. Do some Omin variants. Have to get up a different party than I was expecting. Well, not that I was expecting, just different than what I normally use. Pulling up as many Ag Inc. and C-Team people as possible, because why wouldn't I? They're great. And put them in sensible locations. Of course. Where's my walnut? Ah, there's my walnut. And I have not paid attention to their formation buffs, which is my bad. But we will see how these guys do for now. What else do we want to bring out? Definitely this. You go there. Yes, we'll recall Strix as well. And we'll have a grand old time. And see, Captain Gravis is asking when year 1 champions start getting replaced in events by year 4. Will the year 1 champions still be available via time gate? Yes, they will. So yes. Omin 429 is asking for alignments to be shown on the seed icons. This has been requested a couple times. It would involve changing a fairly significant part of our UI and would require quite some art time. But I will pass on the feedback, so we will see. I can understand the use case that sometimes when you're trying to set up a particular formation by alignments, especially if you're, I feel like I have a good off the top of my head, the good evil spectrum, but not necessarily with the champions between the lawful chaotic spectrum. So and trying to set up with Turiel or Freely, that can be a bit challenging, so I feel your pain on that. Torontonian is... Are you in Toronto? I always think you're in Toronto for some reason. Any chance of being able to click and hold the upgrade button on patron perks? Your mouse can be taken. That is a great quality of life suggestion. I will pass on to the dev team. Shmin Kata is asking, what are some great resources for novice players? Forgotten Realms subreddit, of course, for the most part. There's the Idle Champions subreddit. Our Idle Champions Discord is also a great resource. People there are generally pretty friendly, and there's an entire channel dedicated to formations. If you're looking for some assistance, we have a few streams, obviously the dev Q&A, but also Mars's Guiding Hand, which is on Wednesdays from 1 to 3 p.m. He's a great resource for any questions you might have about Idle Champions. I host a show with Satine Phoenix, more focusing on the beginning of campaigns for newer players on Wednesday mornings between 10 a.m. and noon Pacific. And of course, there's Garawar, who has written some great guides for events, and Mars has written some great guides as well. All of these can be found on the Discord or on the Reddit, so check them out. You'll find more information than you know what to do with, but you'll also have people to ask for clarification, which is always handy. Count Zex is asking, with us having so many champions now and more coming all the time, some way to filter them to things like lawful, etc. might become quite useful, as you find it hard to remember everyone's alignments when building teams. Yes. I'm not sure if we have anything like this planned, but I feel the use case. Pax O is asking for event replays. Is it one random chest of the corresponding champion per 50 levels? Or is it just one chest per entry? It's just one chest per entry. And I see this rumor that floats around almost every event that the further you go, the more likely the chest will be to be gold as opposed to silver. This isn't true. It's equally likely depending on if you hit level 51 or if you hit level 651. So, yeah, that's a rumor that floats around, but it's not true. There is a pity timer on it, so that if you get on your free plays, if you get 3 silvers as your randomly generated chest in a row, the next one will be gold. Giant Dwarf is asking, is it just you, or does the Modron core seem ridiculously over-engineered for something that most will use it to simply gem farm? I think that's a bit... I would disagree, mainly because there are a lot of people who have started idle champions within the past year, in the past 6 months even, who feel like they have a lot of content to keep up. So doing 2 perhaps more difficult variants with, and one of them being with perhaps your B team, having the boosts from the Modron core it's pretty darn handy. I think it's a bit different if you've been playing since day 1 or the first year and you have a lot, you already have a lot of this content completed. But for others, the being able to complete 2 more challenging variants at one time is definitely a huge advantage. Like if you started 3 months ago, you've got Waterdeep to go through, you have Tomb of Annihilation to go through, as well as lots of the Sword Coast. So there's lots. Late game players might be just using it to gem farm, and totally props to them, but it's a great catch-up mechanism for new players as well. Velio Mac, not sure if that's how you pronounce your username, but we're going to go with it. Says, hi Margaret, I've got different durations of global buffs from purchases, the damage buff on party 1 and party 2, presumably from different purchases made whilst on each party. One has 1 day to run, the other has about 3 days left on it. Do you know if that's working as intended or ticket time? Each party. I don't know if that is applying as it should be when it's in your background party. So if you want to send us a ticket, it'll let Sean save your game state and check it out. A ticket will never hurt. If it is working as intended, great. I know, you know, Sean knows. If it's not working as intended, then we can find out and get a fix on it. So please send a ticket to Sean and send him my best, and I can see him yelling at me from here. Not actually, just metaphorically. Owen has a question. They have another account, which is free to play, and they don't have the Modron unlock on it yet, but claim the epic component from claiming 4 chests from the Summer Spectacular. Will I get it once I unlock Modron? Yes. If you don't get it once you unlock Modron, that is time for a ticket, because it would be part of that chest whether or not you have Modron unlocked. Because it should hold event champions gear does out of event chests. Have some suggestions from Maelstrom and Hutfida for the showing alignment. So So there's some, I'll pass those on. And CD88 is asking for a plus and minus button on the patron perks. Since there's no cost to resetting, we should be able to move them up and down as needed. That's a fair point. Circle City Gaming is asking to get a filtered view of the Modron components and just asking you to clarify filtered how. Like, is it for a colorblind mode, or what information are you looking for that you don't see as clearly as you would like? Glacier, is it only a rumor that you will start a TV station soon? You have a cooking show, a music show, a talk show with guests, a beginner guide show, and several others. Only a daily news show is left out. It's true that we have been doing a lot of streaming lately. Part of that is with the pandemic. Our original marketing plan, which involved a lot of going to conventions, kind of went out the window because those aren't happening, and leaving the country isn't happening for us. And with a lot of people working from home and being able to perhaps watch more Twitch streams than they normally are able to, we thought we would explore what our options are there. So yeah, we have been streaming a lot. It's been fun. We like checking out what works and spending more time with the community. So I don't think we have a daily news show planned. There are some other streams that we're still brainstorming and concepting, so I won't say too much of them, but it's been fun. And yes, Dylan has turned into the great streaming overlord and producer with our executive producer, Eric. Last man. Jam Man J is asking for some way to save Modron component formations or to revert past moves. They'd love to be able to experiment with formations, but have trouble forgetting what went where. This is a great point, and I will bring this to the dev team, because if we have save formations for champions, maybe we should also have them for Modron formations. Lod Sensei is asking for the chances of getting a gold or a silver chest in an event free play. It's 1 in 4 with a pity timer built in. So yeah, you have a 1 in 4 chance of getting a gold chest, 3 in 4 chance of getting a silver chest, and if you get 3 silver chests in a row, we have it written in so that the next one will be gold. Ja22 Beer is asking for a menu where I can see every champion owned and use filters like race, class, affiliation, role alignment, and sadly not in the game. Evil Emperor Zurg is requesting for when there's an update or a fix, that they would like a warning that an update is needed instead of the game crashing. Perhaps a pop-up stating the update is ready and locks out new missions until the update is complete. We've recently received a couple of requests for when there are updates available on their platform, on a player's platform, to have a notification pop up, and it's something that we'll be looking into. But the priority list is an ever-moving thing. And Alpha Crawl is asking about more streaming. They'd like a daily 1-hour show with the C&E people that are not seen. That would be cool. Getting to know the rest of the team while they play Idle Champions. I don't really want to volunteer people to go on stream without their consent, because some people, myself included, find it quite nerve-wracking. So that's it's a bit of a big ask. If there is someone that you want to see on stream, I know there have been some requests from the WebGL crew for Level Plane, who is our intrepid WebGL developer, to join a guest. So if there's someone that you'd like to see, I'm happy to pass that on to them, but there's no way that we're volunteering people to go on stream. It's hard. And the flip side as well is our streaming closet has a current capacity of 1 during the current precautions, and 2 otherwise. So it's already a bit of a dance on certain days, like Thursdays, where we need to switch out and sanitize the streaming cupboard. I feel a little bit like Harry Potter. It's the cupboard under the stairs, or the cupboard in which we stream, or on our Summer Spectacular days, where it's like, okay, sanitize and switch. So it's not something that we could do constantly. But if there is someone that you'd like to see, please let us know. Let us know in a Q&A, and we can talk to them and see if they're interested, because some people would love to be a guest on stream. Giant Dwarf is saying, okay, that's fair, but from the unlock split the party adventure, it'll take at least 3 months before a player can unlock it, so you'll have the needed champion count. Also, is the Modron core supposed to be resetting, or effectively with the game closed, like the entire client shut off, or only with the game running? For unlocking split the party, so you would need 2 champions in each slot. You start with 12, obviously, and then you immediately get Hitch, so that gets 13, with throw in maybe 2 to 3 more events and a time gate, maybe within 2-3 months max before a player unlocks it, which also just gives you the background to not be overwhelmed with 2 parties all the time. I will check the needed Modron core. It's supposed to be resetting effectively with the game closed. I believe so, but I'm not 100% sure. So I will get some clarification on that. But yeah, I would say that going from starting now to unlocking Modron automation could take someone between 2 and 3 months if they did it completely free to play. And a certain amount of luck is going to impact people as well, just depending on which champions come up in the events and which champions they get as free time gates. Maelstrom is asking for that filter on alignment of the champions to the collections tab. That's a great idea for the collections tab because it's something that has caused a little bit of a headache for many people, especially with missing common and uncommon items. So, yeah. Findian Burrows is asking that they have been having an issue with the first champion not being put into formation after a Modron reset. It's not consistent and only happens while not on the active party. Is this a known issue? I'm pleased to let you know that this is a known issue and that we are working on it. So that is that. Finances. Do you want to put you there? No, I like you there instead. Omin's formation is a little funky. Maelstrom saying that yes, streaming isn't easy. Thank you. And they like the streams. Thank you for joining me. I'm so glad that you can join for Evergreen Champions. Do I plan on going over party formations on stream and other strategy for runs to help newer players think about how to maximize for progression? Yes. I was torn about whether to start a new account on the tutorial or not. I decided to do it because for that hit of nostalgia and just going way back to, you have no gear and you have no favor. This is a lot more active than it is even a month in. So it's something that I'm playing a lot of when I'm not streaming as well. And I think there's a lot of focus on some of our streams about what perhaps is the absolute best formation you can generate if you have a full roster, and things are a little bit different and changed up a little bit with the hitch rework as well for if you have just the core champions. But I can also understand that people have opinions about certain things. So, and what the ideal formations are. But sometimes you can actually get through many of the variants and achievements without perhaps the most ideal formation, and that's okay too. Speaking of formations, I would like to check to see what my other party is doing. Yes, they're going through Tomb of Annihilation variants right now. Sure, a bit of a time. Trying to use, of course. I did not earn negative gold. Don't worry, this is a graphic bug. We know about this. No one's earning negative gold, but it's not the most fun to see. Okay, we're still progressing slowly. We'll go back to the other one. Oh, Circle City Gaming is responding compared to their request for Modron to be filtered so that you can see similar shapes. If they have a corner, I want to see if they have a better corner that would also fit. But hard to find when you have multiple pages of different pieces. Okay, so maybe just a better sorting system for Modron components. Thanks for clarifying that. That really helps a lot, because being able to go to the team with, hey, this is why this is wanted for this use case, it really helps us contextualize it and drive the case for it. So thank you for that. That helps me a lot. Trust me, I would love to just say absolutely yes to everything and give everyone what they want, but that's sadly not how it works. GeoRed has asking, has any thought been put into possibly making game-changing feats such as Zorbu's intelligence feats and maybe Krell's brilliant strain available through slightly more reliable methods than chest drops? That's a good question, but our answer is perhaps not what you would expect. Instead of having Zorbu and Krell be forever the dominant ones in the meta, we would probably prefer to introduce a new champion or a different way to shake up the meta that perhaps displaces them as the top tier DPS and the top tier support. Not to say that we're planning on nerfing them, because that is not what I'm saying at all, but we'd find it more interesting to create a new top tier DPS, the new best support would be the way that we'd prefer to do it. Philly1 is asking, how do you go to another party? If you have multi-party mode unlocked, you click on the icon for adventuring party. It'll bring up which parties you have running, and you can switch between them. If you see this icon on the map screen, if you also have the requirements to unlock it, which is at least 2 champions in every slot, and then completing the variant split the party, that's how you unlock having multiple parties. Giant Dwarf is asking, will we be getting more of the Modron cores in access turning 3 to 4? By now, some of us vets can run 6 full formation parties if we had the slots once we're out of the Modron beta. Will we be getting more? Yes. When we will be getting more, I can't say. But it is the plan to add more venturing parties and more Modron cores. The when is not something that we have set in stone, and thus not something that I'm at liberty to say, even if I had rough guidelines. We really don't like to say them because things change, and that's that. Dread Cactus 2020 has a question. Do copies of items increase levels of the item? Yes, they do. Palios Apep is asking if there's any documentation on what some of the buff and debuff icons on the champions mean. I believe that there are some community resources about them, but not in game, sadly. Circle City Gaming says, thank you for responding to my request. Your team is incredibly responsive, which is a breath of fresh air in the gaming world. Thank you very much for saying that. We try very hard, and we're a very small team, so it's wonderful to hear it appreciated. And it's always a pleasure to interact with community. It's great fun, and I'm very happy that I could usurp Dylan's place again today and hang out with you some more. That's it's wonderful. Odiacity is asking, are there any plans in the works to save Modron pipe formations, and would you have an ETA? Modron pipe formation saves is something that we're just getting a lot of requests for now. I don't have an ETA on that, and I can't say that it's in development, but this is feedback that we're suddenly getting a lot of, so we're paying attention to it. And Spiller Bus is chiming in on the praise of the game, streams, support, and development on the game. Well, thank you, and I will be sure to pass on your praise and adulations to support, Sean, and development. Well, support's also David, which is kind of crazy because there's nothing like commitment when one of the co-founders of the company is answering support tickets on the weekend. So it's very much a labor of love for a lot of people here. Alpha Krell is asking, do you have statistics of how many accounts have Modron automation unlocked, what levels, and if the level of core is 2? Are some of these stats available to the common user? I think those stats are available. I don't have them, and neither do players. It's sharing like stats or a leaderboard is not really something that we've ever wanted to do with Idle Champions, because it's very much a single player. Walnut's ultimate always gets me. It's the swarm of delightful forest creatures. But yes, the stats and having a leaderboard is not something not a direction we really wanted to go with Idle Champions. So we prefer if people did it as their best selves. I know that there are some competitive streaks, and people chat in the Discord about what they do, and that's great, but it's not something that we wanted to display publicly. BW is asking, is there any way to see all defubs on an enemy? Sometimes there are so many on an enemy, you can't even see what they are. Also, crawls get covered and you can't see how many stacks are on. That is some valid feedback that we've received in the past, and it's handy when we get it again, because then we can poke that, yep, this is still something that we can improve on. So not at the moment, but thanks for bringing the feedback to us. I appreciate it. Vad Nuit is asking, are there any plans for a standard format, including champion rotation? Will year 1 event champs be rotated out and only be available in legacy modes? So starting in year 4, for events, it's the year 2 through 4. 3 champions will be available in the event, and the year 1 champion will only be accessible to be geared through time gates. Ox Bloodly is asking, where can I find the documentation on how to unlock multi-partying? If you're looking for a guide on how to best complete split the party, there's some guides in the Discord, there's some guides in Reddit. In a lot of ways it's just like any other standard adventure. My recommendation would be, since it's done with no favor, I would put out gold find potions. I know that a lot of people don't use consumables, but I do, especially when it's for something when I don't have favor, just as a way to really boost that. And I would also suggest don't put your best team out first. So those are my 2 tips for split the party. Elf Crow is suggesting that they hope that the amount of adventure parties would be equal to the number of patrons. That would make a certain amount of poetic sense. So, oh, there's a Pegasus. Gotta love Evelyn's ult. So, I know that we want to unlock more, but I can't see when that'll be happening. Dread Cactus 2020 is saying a Tale of Two Champions is kicking you in the head. Many of us, that is a struggle, especially some of the patron variants for it. Giant Dwarf is saying that C&E is a real gem when it comes to dealing with the players. Thank you very much, but please can we get the slot 6 issue resolved? We do some counting. No. Hi. Third Charms, Global Blessing, Less Distracted is ridiculously useless. Do you plan to change or improve it? Nope, not that I'm aware of. There have been requests for more blessings, and it would imply also that with a new campaign, there would be a new deity and new blessings, but I don't have details on what that will be, or technically who the deity will be, because we might be changing that up a bit. I look forward to seeing what we do with our next campaign and next deity, and what their blessings will be, because blessings are great. Astratus 76, would it be possible to lock ultimate buttons so familiars can't activate them automatically? This is something we're getting a lot more feedback on. It's sort of one of those trade-offs, because if you put a roaming familiar on the ultimate bar, then it can set off a familiar that you'd prefer not. I'm thinking just off the top of my head here, like Havilars or Beetle and Grim. For some of this, it's some people have enough familiars that they can just choose the ultimates that they like, but that's not a possibility for everyone. So it's definitely feedback that I can pass on, but I don't think it's our highest priority at the moment. Circle City Gaming is asking, since D&D now has official campaigns set on the Planes of Magic for Magic the Gathering settings, any chance we could see those planes manifest in Idle Champions? It is unlikely, because we really tried to focus in Forgotten Realms. There are some suggestions and exceptions, of course, but never say never, but we really tried to focus in Forgotten Realms. Merrick Steele is asking, what does the Twitch Drops link button in the lower left of the settings do? I thought all Twitch related goodies were chest codes to copy paste in. What else is there to get, and what would we need to be done to get it? So back in March, we were very excited to be the guinea pigs for the latest iteration of Twitch Drops, the Twitch Drops 2.0, and we had some giveaways then. It was an interesting system, and it was very the community felt very passionately about it, and we've always done our codes for our stream rewards previously, and that's what we're leaning towards right now. That's not to say that we will do that we won't do Twitch Drops again, but we would definitely do them in a different way, and not again for skins, because that was a time. That was a time. So we previously used it for Twitch drops 2.0, but we have no active streams with Twitch drops at the moment, is the TLDR of that. When Ian has a question, they play on iOS, but notice that most of the public web page tickets are listed under Steam. If I find that I see a ticket and I want to upvote, should I upvote it, even if it has the Steam header, or enter a new ticket? I would enter a new ticket and then reference that it's the same issue, just to make sure that it also is sorted out on iOS. But yeah, if you could enter a new ticket and then just reference that it seems to be the same issue as the Steam issue, that would be wonderful. Thank you. And getting more requests to lock an ultimate, so that is definitely some feedback I will bring to the team. Oh, Xenograd is repeating this from earlier. Instead of creating champions that would surpass Sorbu or Krull, it would be much nicer to see options that are on par with them. Maybe they even share slots so there isn't stacking. Allows for more choice with multi-adventure patrons and personal choice. Absolutely. Like, Sorbu and Krull are arguably almost too good, and that's definitely not what we aim for when we aim for a balanced champion. And again, it's something that depends on the circumstances. I'm kind of excited for, part of the reason why I'm excited for multi-party mode is it now opens up possibilities again for champions that you wouldn't normally use otherwise, and who don't get a ton of playtime outside of that. There have been requests not to nerf Krull or Zorbu. Don't worry, we're aware of that. I'm not suggesting we do that. It's always fun to see the meta shooken up a little bit. Is all I'm saying. Please don't come after me with pitchforks. I'm not coming after your Krull or Zorbu. So I look forward to us being able to open up with a third party as well, because instead of then having 2 options in a slot, you'd have to field 3 teams, and that would really change there may be dominant champions, but you might have better synergy with different champions. So yeah. Yes. And I would nerf shield for everyone. Okay. That would be great. That would be wonderful. I'm just going to check to see what my other party is doing. Oh. You need a friend. You need a friend. How are you doing? Over here. Me. Great, no negative gold this time. We're going slowly. Oh, but we can get some all champ damage, which is always handy. And can I afford the next of you? Next. Okay. We shall see. Yeah. This is not my ideal Tomb of Annihilation formation, especially with that column wiped out, but I wanted to see if the tieflings could do it. Because sometimes I feel like fielding a whole bunch of tieflings. Master XM 1990 says it just doesn't make sense that a gnome and a turtle are the most powerful characters in a D&D derived game. I mean, have you met my friend Carl? Well, he's not my friend, but a large turtle is pretty terrifying. Which one do I want to use? Close allies. Non-adjacent. And some gold. JLeg 1981 about Modron. When I first see the button inventory party and then requirements NA, I think that is a bug. Then I find in the internet answer that I must have at least 2 champions in each slot to start using Modron. There's no notice in the game about that. That is a fair point, and we should have a better explanation in game. Thank you for bringing that to my attention so I can get that fixed. Rotron Zomj, yes, they couldn't imagine an Evo Total, and then they saw Crawl, and it's like, okay, yep, that's an Evo Total. And Circle City Gaming, would it be possible to add a timer to the adventuring party's interface? It would be nice to know how long it's been since I've checked the other party. It would help figure out whether I need to go address a progression issue with the other party. That's a very good point. And that's a great bit of feedback. Just, hey, go check on the other party. Just would you just want it, like when you select the multi-party screen, just say time since you've checked on this party? I don't think that an alarm you set with a notification is really the thing. It would just be a clock. Okay. I'll bring it to the team. Pax O, speaking of Zorbu, I finally got to experience using him as a support yesterday entirely by accident. I was doing the 3rd Ishii variant and had just chucked her in the 1 slot with 5 adjacents and kept messing over my bud like, wait, what? Why is she my top DPS? Turns out when you have a DPS support that scales by applying their massive support buff to themselves, then put them next to a proper DPS who gets the buff, even bigger numbers happen. Yes. But spiking is a fun thing. Man. Daily Aztecs asking, doesn't the countdown timer on the core activation kind of do that already? That's a good point as well. It's just that can be doing that, but that's a fair point. But we could still make it more obvious. Oh, and Xenoguard would like a suggestion for an indicator that shows which patron they're currently running at a glance. So that's a great request. I can't promise you anything, but I can promise to go and harass the people who can make those decisions. That's all I can promise you, sadly. Vadnui, are there any plans for new unique enemy mechanics such as significant health or armor? It'd be interesting for champions to have specific abilities which target enemy mechanics rather than attack speed, total buff percent, or ultimate being the differentiator between champs. Sure, there are variants that limits the use of champions, but player choice and tactics could be even more rewarding with counterplay to specific enemy types mechanics. This is some interesting feedback for Chris, and I will bring it to him because he is often the one that designs. He and Justin design like some of the. I'm thinking of some of the latest variants in Avernus where what the enemies do changes by zone, and that can be quite a time. Mini Bow is asking if anyone else has problems with the gold chests. Every time I open one, I have to reload the game because I get stuck on the next chest done buttons. I was not aware of this bug, but please bring it to our in-game support ticket so that we can get that fixed sooner rather than later. Stardust76 is asking when formations are saved, would it be possible that no specific familiars are saved, but instead load on a formation and some random few familiars assigned to the saved position? Okay, so you don't want the way it's currently programmed, so far as I understand it, and I'm not a dev, so I may be wrong, is that it does save the particular familiar with the save formation, so that would require us to rewrite the save formations code. So that is not our highest priority at the moment, but it is some very interesting. But it's some feedback about pulling in like the first free familiar instead if they are in another party. So I will bring that to the dev team, but it might take more work than it originally seems. Ojeg 1981 says thanks for your stream. Bug with the gold find feats still are not fixed. When I'm off game and return my champions, gold find feats don't work and I must turn them on manually, and if I only have 2 open feats, I can't do it. Okay. That is bug. I will check to see where that is on the priority list. We have at least one half is asking why do Binwin and Omin share a slot? They're both OG ACK Inc. Oh my goodness. Yes, they are both in many ways OG ACK Inc., but there's a lot of ACK Inc. and C-Team on in the game, and there's a lot of things to balance when it comes down to choosing which slot a champion goes into, that sometimes we do need to make allowances and accommodations. So that's I feel like choosing which slot, it's not something I do, but personally, but as a team, we sort of understand that no matter what slot we put a champion in, we will have chosen the wrong one. So once we accept that, it gets easier. We try to balance it as much as we can, but once the right choice is the right choice for everyone often eludes us. Oh, speaking of which, I'm gonna go grab what I hope is going to be Omin's feats. Get some Omin feats, because I just unlocked him recently because I ran my favorite run overnight. And yeah, so rules lawyer and aspiring leader. Great. That's wonderful. rules are check page 243, subsection J, please. I'll wait. Oh, bureaucracy at its finest. And yes, Karnas, we've taken away the healing tag for Omin because that wasn't supposed to be there. Dave the Aztec saying, 2 Omin feats, streamer luck strikes again. Okay, so funny story. Well, feats are 1 in 25 chance, so there's a decent but not guaranteed chance that I would get 2 with opening 50 chests. In terms of streamer luck, I will never live down the time that I opened several hundred chests on stream thinking that I was missing a feat, and I wasn't. And that was really painful because I was like, oh, no, I'm just missing a feat. Why can't I find it? But no. There can also be streamer anti-luck. Oh. It's, yeah, Xenogard. That was hard to watch. Yeah, that was... I felt very blonde when I realized that. But that's okay. I'll just make sure that I always have at least 50 chests for when I unlock the next champion, and then just make sure I've unlocked them before I do that again. Benjamin saying that it was hard to walk into the office the next day. Thankfully, it happened while we were working from home, so I only had to keep my shame in the internal home office of video chat, which is sort of become the new normal. Yeah. OG is asking, are there plans for a feats page list to list feats so we can see what we have and what we don't have? Not that we have planned at the moment, but is interesting and worthwhile feedback. I know that there are some spreadsheets available that have been compiled by some lovely members of the community if you want to check it off yourself manually, but I also understand the polls to have it done in game. Yeah, Raven's voice too. The chests went from 1,000 to 300 that stream. It was painful to watch. Yeah, it was painful for me too, but at least I got the item levels out of it. And really, I should have been opening those for the item levels anyway. Just, it's sort of like, as much as I'd like to hoard the unopened chests, they're more worthwhile to open right away and to get the item levels out of the chests and onto your champions. The one thing I would say is there is a certain amount of advantage to maybe holding on to 60 chests if you're about to unlock your next Evergreen champion, because that'll guarantee that you'll go full epic on them almost immediately. So, yeah, it's as much as many people's hoarding tendencies would tell you otherwise, it makes more sense to get your item levels out of the chests and onto the gear. But, yeah. Dana Wolf, 1973, opened 2.2 thousand worth of silver at the event start and no shiny at all. I pouted. I would pout too. It's natural shinies are hard to come by, and sadly don't have a pity timer on them. Vengeance has a question. Was there only one thing on the DLC sale, or have they spent too much money already? So I posted this in the Reddit and in the Discord by request, but I'm happy to repeat it again here. For the next few weeks, we have certain amounts of our DLC going on sale before it retires on September 3rd, what's on sale this week is the Imp Familiar Pack and the Abyssal Chicken Familiar Pack, as well as the Black Viper Unmasked skin pack. And then next week it will be so those are on sale this week, not on sale next week, but retiring on September 3rd. And next week it's the Visor Tressum, and then the Stokey Champion skin pack and the Clybe Champion skin pack are all on sale. It's all on our Discord and our Reddit. I'll post the link there. So we just wanted to be transparent with when the things will be on sale before they go away. So that's that. Phil Zed. So after said date, you can't buy them anywhere. After September 3rd, they will be retired, so they'll disappear from the shop. And then all of them will be on sale for a week before that. But what's on sale when is a different week, which is why we've written it out, because we don't want to be we want to be transparent about it. I want to see what the other party's doing. Are we okay? Are we okay? Dave the Aztec is asking for a 100+ option on chests, especially since you'll be earning them faster. That's a fair point. I will put that on the please list. But we're good. We're almost there. I believe in you. Yeah. I'm always happy to put things on the yes please, we would like this list. So thank you for bringing them to me. Pierre 13's what the raffle for. The last raffle is for a Champions of Renown pack DLC of the winner's choice. So either the year 1 or the year 2 Champion of Renown DLC pack. Cassius would like the retiring packs. That's a fair point. Actually, I'm going to say if you win this one, then you can request the Explorers pack or the Founders 2 pack as well. Dread Cactus 2020 has a question. How does shiny equipment work? It increases in the sense of how do you get them? Because you get them through a potion of polish, which selects one item you have randomly, or you have a 1 and 1,000 chance of getting them through any chest. So silver or gold have the same chances of getting a shiny. I'm trying to remember the percent boost that it gives to any item. I believe it's a 50% boost, but I feel very much sometimes like, yes, it's, there we go. It will permanently grant a 50% bonus to the proficiency of its respective equipment. Sorry, sometimes on stream, I feel very much like I've just been called on in class and I need to provide an eloquent answer to something that I know the answer to. But then you just start panicking and you start mumbling. So, yeah. But, and thank you, Twitch, for unmuting yourself. I really appreciate that. That was a lie the narrator said. She did not appreciate that. Secret Ooh is asking, is it worth waiting to make sure your shiny potion hits a purple? No, because once you hit a epic, once that upgrades to epic anyway, it will keep the shiny status, so you never need to worry about that. It'll upgrade for you, so the shininess won't be taken away. So that is that. Engine 89 is requesting for buying more than 1 gold chest for gems, would also be a huge quality of life change. And yes, this is definitely something that we're looking at, and then we're looking at the possibility of integrating. We wanted to wait until after Modron automation and the release of some of our more expensive gen familiars before we implemented this, because we would feel really bad if we implemented that change and then people threw in bought a whole bunch of gold chests when they were saving them, when they didn't know that they could be saving them for some of the familiars. So I think that's coming into one of the things now. But I'm not 100% sure that that feature is coming, but we really hope that it is on the community team. No. Oh, okay. Dread Cactus 2020 is they've been there when they've been asked a question. Thank you. What I meant was, how does it affect item levels? Is the shiny the same for white items or say purple? It would affect them the same, but your items will still gain levels even if they're already shiny. Yeah, it's thank you, Garward. It's a 50% bonus to the item power, so it affects them the same no matter what their base level is. Yes, and it's upgrading the item slot, not the specific item. Again, you guys with the eloquence, I appreciate you. Yeah. Does anyone have any more questions before we wrap it up? Okay, Philly 1 is asking, do duplicate rarities better? Does a white give +1 a level, and a duplicate purple give more? Yes, it does. Yep, like a duplicate epic will be better than a duplicate common. Mailstorm is asking, how am I liking Omin so far? I haven't played around with Omin quite as much as I'd like before the stream. I just finished my sort of deep favor pushes this morning. I'm really excited to see how Omin brings more synergy to using the ACQ cast and the C team together. I felt that they were a little bit there was synergy, but it wasn't as great as it could be. And I think Omin really brings that. So I'm excited to create a couple of like C team formations and being able to run them in sort of the same way that you would be able to run a Companions of the Hall formation for. So I don't know. I really like Omin. And Jerry Holkins is great and hilarious. I was fortunate enough to see the last live show of ACK Inc. at PAX East, and it was really, really funny. And Jerry is a lovely human who also likes Snickers. And he was at PAX South, he was doing a signing in our booth, and it was like, can you get me Snickers? And I'm like, yes, so long as you're at the Idle Champions booth, I am the de facto one of your minions. So that was it's always nice to see when the characters that you really like are played by really nice humans as well. That always makes me really happy, because I think there's nothing more disappointing than like meeting your heroes and finding that they're not nice people. And yeah, Javi's having a time. This is perhaps not the optimal formation with the third column, well, second column, depending on where we're counting it from, missing. But I believe they can. We're not at soft cap yet, and they've got 7 more levels, so it's possible. And I believe in the tieflings. The tieflings can do it. The tieflings can vanquish this. So yeah, I will probably have more opinions on Omin next week when I can play around with him and like find my optimal C team and ACK Inc. formation. And yeah, I look forward to that. How are you guys finding Omin? Cassius wants to know, be sure to let us know when Betrayal at Sea Towers his Kickstarter. Oh, if you buy towers, you mean 2-story building, then absolutely, yes. It would be. I don't think we could get the licenses in place, but it is a really fun, maybe homebrew game for us to make. That would be a lot of fun, but. Yeah, and yeah, I'm gonna close this out for today because we're almost at time, and I believe D&D has Kate Welch's Game Juice scheduled up next, and it's been really wonderful to chat with you all today. It's been a while, and I know you guys are Dylan's on Thursdays, but I miss you. So thanks very much for hanging out with me for a couple hours. That's our show for Thursday, August 6th, 2020. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for participating in the Dungeons & Dragons and Idle Champions communities. You're all awesome. The show exists because of a number of amazing people behind the scenes, including our co-producer and moderator, Jay, our executive producer, Erica, the Sauron of the office, and our partners at Dungeons & Dragons, Greg, Bart, Pelham, Allison, Shelling, and Brandy. Take care, champions, and Sean will see you tomorrow first thing for Griddle Champions, and he will not have had breakfast yet.